Hi guys, you're welcome back again to the channel. Finally, I'm here with the sewing tutorial of this conical overbust corset with an asymmetrical neckline, which was inspired by a popular Nigerian designer, Vicky James. Inside of the corset, I wore an inbuilt corset, which is a dartless corset and a pants trouser, as you can see. And I'm guessing that is the same thing she also did for us as well. So in this video, I'll be showing you the cutting and the sewing process and how I got it looking like this as the end product. Okay, so guys, if this is something you've been interested in learning, do keep on watching till the end, and please subscribe to the channel if you're yet to subscribe. Thank you. So guys, I went ahead to cut my pattern on my fabric just the way it is labeled, and then I added half-inch seam allowance on the sides that will be joined together and also on the top part. And as you can see, I cut them into two. So one side is going to be for my lining and the other side will serve as my main fabric. Okay, I also went ahead to iron stitch to both the lining and the main fabric. So since the front pattern is already open like this, that is why I have two fabric. One is serving as the lining and one is serving as the main fabric. So guys, if you're watching this video and you're yet to watch the sewing tutorial, then I'll advise you go ahead to watch the sewing tutorial so you would not be confused of any parts. Then when you're done with watching that part, then you can come back here to watch the sewing tutorial. So after adding your half-inch seam allowance, for the length of the corset, I went ahead to measure my half length of 17.5 inches, and then I increased the length. I said that in the cutting video that I'm going to be increasing the length, okay? So I made mine to be 26.5 inches before, but I decided to remove an extra 1 inch because I don't want it to be too long like the inspiration I'm working with. So I wanted it to just be fitted okay so that when I sit, I won't have any kind of discomfort. Okay. So I made the length to be 25 inches and an extra half an inch to turn the bottom. So I'll just go ahead now to correct this pattern, this on all the other sides of the front, and I'll also be doing the same thing for the back. Okay. So guys, we'll first of all be working with the front pattern. I'll show you how to join it before moving on to the back. Okay, so after cutting and adding all your seam allowance before taking out your patterns, you're going to notch the half lengths. So as you can see, I've already gone ahead to notch all the half lengths of my front pattern so that when I join my pieces, they are just going to be equal. Okay, so after doing that, now I'll take out the pattern. So guys, when sewing this type of corset and you want your asymmetrical neckline to be in a particular side, you're going to label the panels on your main fabric just like I did. I labeled M and L. So the side that I labeled M is serving as my main fabric and the side that I labeled L is serving as my lining, so that when I want to join my pieces, I would not be confused. So I'll go ahead now to separate the lining from the main fabric and open it aside in another place. Okay, so I'll be showing you how to join the main fabric, and you're also going to be doing the same thing for your lining. So guys, the next thing I'll be doing now is to join the front panels together. I'll be using my notches on the half length as a guide. So you're just going to pin each of the panels together and make sure that they are equal on the top and also on the bottom. Okay.
Let me take you back to a time when love was as precious as diamonds, where if you search you would find it.
So I'll take it over to my sewing machine and join with half an inch. Note that I'll also be doing the same thing for the lining. And then after I'm done sewing, I'll open it up on my ironing table and iron the seams open. And then for the curvy part, you can make use of your bust arm. So guys, this is the back pattern. I cut it into 4 panels. two will be serving as the main fabric, and two will be serving as the lining, as you can see. So this is just one part of the back, okay? So that is why I'm cutting it into 4 panels. And also for the length, remember at the front pattern, I increased it by 2 inches, but because I don't want it to be too long, I decided to remove 1 inch, and I'm doing the same thing for the back. So guys, another thing I want you to take note of is when I was cutting the pattern, I wanted it to have a lacing back, but because I am wearing an inbuilt corset that already has lace on it, I am going to make this corset to have a zipper. So I'm just going ahead to replace the opening I took at that center back. On the top, I replaced back 2 inches, and then on the bottom, I replaced back 1 inch, just like I did in the cutting tutorial. And then I also went ahead to add 1.5 inch for my zipper allowance. So to be on the safer side, you should just increase your zipper allowance with about 2 inches, okay? So after that, you're going to notch the side seams that are going to be joined together. And then as you can see, I used half inches for all the other seams, the seams that will be joined together on the top and also on the side part. So I went ahead to take out my patterns and my lining. So I'll be showing you how to join the lining and the main fabric of the back. So guys, before taking out your patterns, remember to notch your half length seams, okay? Just like I've done here. So I'll take out my lining first and then show you how to join the main fabric of the back. And note that you also be doing the same thing for your lining. So after opening them up like so, you're going to join them using your half length as a guide. You're going to pin them together and then take it to sew with half an inch. And then after sewing, you're also going to iron the seams open. So like I said, you're going to pin your main fabric and your lining of your back like so, and then take it over to sew and iron the seams open. So guys, after sewing and ironing the front pattern, you can see how it is looking neat. So this part is for the lining. After ironing my main fabric, I just set it aside because we don't need to work on that part. All the boning will be done on the lining, okay? And then for the conical part, I went ahead to cut out the conical shape from my lining, and then I used ST to pad it to give it a bit of structure. I did the same thing for the back lining so that when I sew my bone on that part, it's just going to give it enough structure. Now you can also go ahead to iron ST on the whole of the bottom part after the half length, depending on what you want. So guys, the next thing I'll be doing now is to sew my bone on the seam line. So I'm making use of a regular boning. So what I'm going to do now is to get the length of the bone I'm working with. I'll come down by 1 inch from the top, which is the neckline, and then 1 inch from the bottom part. So when you get the length of the bone you're working with, you are just going to sew on the seam line. You can go ahead to create small boning channels depending on what you want, okay? So guys, you're also going to be sewing bones on the conical parts. So I'm just going ahead to rule the lines that I want to sew on. You can do as many lines as you want. So before you go ahead to sew your bones, you first of all be taking out your sewing allowance so that you don't sew your bone on your sewing allowance part. So for the bottom part, I'm taking out 1.5 inches. And then for the remaining part, which is the half length to the bust area, I'll be using half inches, okay? So this is depending on what you want, and it is my choice. I don't want the bottom part of my conical corset to be too wide. I just want it to fit perfectly. So that's the reason why I took out 1.5 inches from the bottom, and then I use half inches for the other sides, like the half length and the bust area. So after getting the shape that you're working with, you can go ahead now to rule the lines that you'll be sewing your boning on. Just like I did here. And so then on the neckline area, I'll go ahead to mark 1 inch, and then I'll also be sewing another boning on that neck area to give it structure. Okay. And then for the back lining, I also went ahead to mark all the lines that I'll be sewing my boning on. I'll be sewing on the seam line, and then for the side part I'll do the same thing I did for the front, which is to take my body measurements. And after doing that, I'll go ahead to rule out the lines that I'll be sewing my boning on, just like you see me doing. So I didn't film the part of sewing the regular boning to the lining because this is an advanced tutorial and you should already know how to fix your regular boning to your corset. So after getting the length of the bone I need, I'll use my lighter to bond the rough edges, okay? And then I'll take it over to my sewing machine and just stitch on both sides of the regular bone. So guys, after sewing the boning to the lining, I went ahead to iron it to make it relaxed, okay? And also you can see the way I added more bones to the conical part and also on the main bodies. So the next thing I'll be doing now is to sew bone to the neckline. So you're going to curve the bone that you'll be sewing to the neckline area. I have a tutorial on how to curve bone on my bust caging tutorial. I'll be putting the link on the description box. So when you curve your bone, you'll be sewing on that neckline area. So guys, I'm just showing you a peek on how I went about ironing the bust area to make it curve. So I first of all iron it to the inside, then after doing that I turn it out to the rough side to iron it with my bust arm, okay? And I also went ahead to fix boning to the armhole part. That is totally optional. So guys, like I said before, you're going to turn the fabric inside out because your main fabric is going to be on top. So you're going to iron it very well, iron it properly. And then I also went ahead to join the side parts using the measurement that I ruled before. And then after shaping it, you can go ahead to iron the side part and also the conical part. Now when ironing the conical part, you're going to use your bust arm to iron it, okay? Because it is curvy, so you need to use your bust arm to iron the seam open. So after doing this, guys, I'm just trying to rush up because I was making this dress at night and I needed to wear it to a wedding the next day. So it was just a bit of a rush. So after ironing the seams open, I use my air stay to cover up that rough edge on the conical part, okay? So the next thing I'll be doing is to turn the main fabric and the lining part together. So ensure that you've already shaped your main fabric just like you did your lining and iron the seams open. So guys, the next thing I'll be doing now is to turn the neckline of the main fabric and the lining together. You're going to place the front side facing front side of the lining and the main fabric, and then you turn the neckline, you turn the armhole to the back part, and also you'll be turning the bottom part. So when I was sewing, I used my hemming gum, so I sew together with my hemming gum so that it will be easy for me to iron it. And then you're going to turn it open with your zipper allowance. And afterwards, you can go ahead to fix your zipper. So guys, this is how it looks after I turn it to the good side. It was a bit of a hassle to turn it. So I'll advise when you're making yours, there might not be need to add the boning to your armhole part, okay? And then after turning it, I got it looking like this. With the help of the hemming gum, I just turn it and iron it to make it lay flat. So guys, another thing I wanted to still correct is you can see how that center front is not looking as structured as the conical part. So what you could do is instead of ironing the many ST to that part, you can just iron it to the whole of that bottom part. I don't know if you understand, the whole of that conical shape straight, okay? So just iron it straight so that it can have enough structure there when you fix your bone. And then afterwards, you fix your zipper, take your accurate measurements, and then fix your zipper with the remaining allowance. So guys, thanks for watching. If you find any part of this tutorial helpful, please do well to give this video a thumbs up and also do subscribe. That is one way to support your favorite creators for free.